Hey teens, I'm Miss Abby, your Teen Services Librarian for the Slidell branches of the San Antonio Parish Library. And I would like to make with you the card in your Teen Arts and Crafts tote, the Pop-Up Pumpkin craft. So it's a cute little card that you can make and send to your family and friends for the holiday season. But before we get to that, let's talk about what our teen totes are. So before you is your Arts and Crafts tote. If you don't sign up for that, let me explain that to you. You sign up for that tote between the 15th and 30th of every month to receive between the 15th and 30th of the following month. For that one is 2 crafts. We advertise ahead of time so that you know what you're getting. And then sometimes it's some swag, a snack, something fun included. We also have another tote called our Teen Book Tote subscription. And that one you register for between the 1st and the 15th of every month to receive between the 1st and the 15th of the following month. And when you register for that one, it'll ask you to pick between 2 themes. You select the theme that you want, and it will come to you with 2 books that you check out from the library and then return later that fit that theme. And then usually some fun swag, some snacks, some things like that included. Previously, we've done summer reading t-shirts, we've had socks for Christmas, Valentine chocolate hearts, that kind of thing. Now that we've gone over that, let's get on to our craft. So let's start with the materials needed. So this is a pretty simple one today. We have very limited amount of materials that are actually needed for this one. You're going to need glue. I'm using a stick glue today, but you will receive a liquid glue. Use it the same way. Some cardstock. Everything is cut to the size that you need. If you are joining us without an Arts and Crafts tote, then you're going to need a 9.5 by 5 cardstock, a 4 by 4 cardstock, and a 4.5 by 4.5 cardstock. And then I have a pumpkin. You can just trace out whatever you want. These were cut on our CryCut. So I have a pumpkin base, and then I have assorted pumpkin cutouts. For your bags, y'all received the fun green texture, and then everybody got a regular orange pumpkin shapes. But if you're doing this at home, you can use anything that you have on hand, any colors that you want. Make it what you'd like it to be. So to get started, I like to start with my front plaque that I'm going to put on the card. And for this, I like to make sure everything's nice and lined up before I glue it. You will have a little leeway to be able to make sure it's even. And then this is the basic setup, right? So I'm going to do my patterned textured square with the slightly smaller white square on top. And then I want my patterned pumpkin template with the stem on the bottom. And once we get this glued, we're going to have a decision to make. So I'm going to start by doing my white to my green and then my pumpkin to my white. And with that decision that we're going to have to make is whether or not we want the pumpkin pop-up on both the front and the middle, or we just want to do it one way or the other. So I'm going to show you what it would look like if you didn't do the pop-up on the front, which I kind of like. I like the applique nameplate with just the cute front. And I say that because you can do both if you'd like. But this card is very wide. You can see that it doesn't quite close very well. So if this is a case where you're trying to mail it, this is a very thick card to fit in an envelope. So that's up to you. So you can do the middle and the middle one and not the top, or the top one and not the middle, or go ahead and do both. Maybe you're hand delivering it. Plus, I think the middle one opens up a little better too, but that's just my opinion. So I have my white glued down to my green. So I'm going to come over here with my pumpkin stem shape, and I want to make sure I get that stem really good because the stem will come up if you don't get it well. I'm going to put about where I want it, and I still have a little bit of time to kind of move it around if I need to. It's about how I like it. Okay. So that's my basic. So I could just put this on my card like this, or it would be on this side, like this. Or I can do the front pumpkin like this. I'm going to go ahead and do both for y'all. I really love this myself. I think it's adorable. But I'm going to do both. Maybe you want to do the outside one, but not the inside one. Maybe you want to do both of them. I want to make sure you have plenty of options. So for this one, I'm working with 2 patterns because I happen to have them on hand. The ones in your bags are just 1 pattern, so you don't have to worry about everything that I am. But if you want to make another set, use the ones that we have as a template, what have you. This is an option. And in your bag is a popsicle stick. I did this for your fold. So if you need help making a nice crisp fold, you just slide it around and it kind of smooths that out really well. So I'm starting by folding each pumpkin in half. And I want to line it up, and the best way to line it up is to get it where I want it, and then to come into the middle and pinch from the middle out. And that keeps it from getting disaligned. And then again, I'm going to take my popsicle stick and smooth those creases out so they're not so chunky. And because I'm working with 2 patterns, I'm going to alternate because I want the same. I want to be able to alternate between them. You need about 7 to 8 of these folded. You should have plenty to do a front, an inside and an outside pumpkin, or 2 cards if you're just going to do 1. And again, just every single one of them, I'm going to match them up and then go to the middle and pinch, and then smooth it out really well. And then I'm going to do 2 ways that you can apply it. Your instructions will say to start by gluing one side to the card and then finish off that glued. I did it both ways, and I'm going to show you both ways because I did it separate and then glued it down, and I've done the other. One of them might be easier for you than the other. Right, I'm going to do about 8 so you can see what 8 will look like. Oh, you know, maybe not. Let's see. Oh, no, that's correct. Okay. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. And then the inside will be a little skinnier because I'll have 6. So if I want to switch it out, like if I start to look at it and it's looking a little too thick on the front, I can do 7 and 7. All right, so the first way that was recommended is to just glue 1/2 to the base. So we want to start on 1/2 of our pumpkin, and we're going to glue here to the base of it. And I want to match it up as best I can. Okay. So I have that glued down. I'm going to push it really well, nice and firm. And then I'm going to add my glue to the back, to the other side of the fold. And I'm going to glue my next piece. Again, matching it up as best I can. Nice and firm. And continuing on. And I'm going to keep doing this until I get every fold glued down. And then I'm going to glue to the other side. I'm just going to keep working diligently. Maybe you put on your favorite music. And see how I'm already getting the pop-up? Oops. And because I'm doing patterns, I want to alternate the ones that I'm doing. I'm working on two patterns, so I want to alternate the solid with the stripes. And I kind of want to make sure all my stripes are going in the right direction, but that's just for me. Maybe you don't care, and that's okay. And both sides of the pumpkin are about the same, so it doesn't matter if the paper's upside down or not. There is no upside down. It should match up on both sides. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. So we'll do a couple more. But that's just to show you what 5 would look like. Six. And then 7. And I think I'm going to end on 7 because I start with one pattern and I end with that same one. And I like how that looks. So this would be 7. I think that's pretty full. So I'm going to put this one with my others so I can do those. And then I'm going to come through and I'm going to put glue on the other side of this pumpkin. And I want to use quite a bit because I'm using stick glue. You're going to have liquid glue, so you're not going to need as much. And again, you want to line it up as best you can. Okay, so we're going to stick it down nice and well. Okay, so that's the front of our card. And to make our card, we're going to take the longer rectangle, and again, if you don't have a bag, this is a 9.5 by a 5. And I'm going to do the same technique. I'm going to line it up. And then I'm going to press in the center here. And that should help you get a nice even line and keep it from, because you know sometimes when you go to find the middle, it kind of shifts a little. That'll help keep it. And then I'm going to smooth this edge so I don't have those lumps from pressing it. Okay, so I have a nice crisp edge. And it's a nice crisp edge inside too. Okay, so I'm ready to glue this down. So I'm going to put glue all around the sides of it and in the middle because it's a little bit heavier than a normal paper card because I've put a lot of cardstock on it. So I'm going to make sure it's nice and glued down, try to even it up as best I can. Okay. Make sure none of them are stuck together. And that's the front of my pumpkin card. Okay. Well, now I'm ready to do my middle. And I was having some trouble getting it folded right, and it was mostly because of the stem. So what I'm going to do is match up my sides, and again, fold from the outside. And then I'm going to stick my fold into the card this time, I think. And I'm going to kind of shut it and see if that'll help me fold it. Because I was having trouble with the stem. And I think we probably did better than what I was doing. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I glue this down really well. Right where I want it to be. And then I'm going to fold it and make sure that increase is nice and solid. Okay. All right, I think that's pretty center. Make sure that stem is down well, and then folding in. And that should keep my stem crease pretty much there. That was my biggest struggle with this, was my stem crease. So for the outside one, because I'm working with a pattern, number one, when the ones you get, you're going to have color on both sides. The one I'm working with only has color on one side. So I want to make sure I fold that pattern or color to the inside so that I have so that side shows, because the white's going to be glued together. And I like using this to show y'all so you have a better idea. So if you do a template on your own, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to fold them just like I did before, matching my edges, making sure all that's correct, and then going from the middle to the outside to form my crease. And if it's slightly off, it shouldn't be too big a video. You can always trim if you need to. But if you start by matching it up and then fold, then pinch in the middle and then out, it should be pretty consistent. And again, if you mess up a little bit, just try to get it refolded right and then push down with your popsicle stick to get that nice crease. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing I did before, but this time I'm going to do it without putting it on the card and then adding it to the card last so that you see a different technique. So I'm just going to start with my base, the first card one. Immediately I'm making a mess, but that's okay. Messes happen with crafts. And again, same thing. I'm just going to match it up as well as I can, pushing it down firmly to make sure it stays glued together. And then I'm going to keep going by putting glue on the outside fold and adding another until I'm out. And that'll be 7 of these, just like I had 7 on the outside. And it could be that you just like the fold on the outside, but this nice little applique on the inside, and then you can put love, whatever. Maybe you're doing this for yourself to look at and you want the both pop-ups. Maybe you're putting it on your vanity or with your pumpkins on display and you just want to be able to see all of it. That's fine too, however you want to do it. Whatever your use is. But this same technique would work if you cut Christmas tree shapes or snowman shapes, maybe hearts for Valentine's Day. All of that would work with this style too. So if you want to use it for more than just the fall holidays, then you can use it for other stuff as well. And I'm trying to be careful with my glue so I don't accidentally glue all of the sides together. So this is my last one. Again, I started with one pattern, so I'm going to end with that same one. And that'll be 7 pieces. Or I thought I did. Oops. Oh, you know what? I'm out of that pattern, so that is okay. No, I'm not. I got to put it on this side. I was putting it on the wrong side. I got all mixed up. So you definitely need to pay attention to that. I got a little bit turned around. So I started with one pattern. I ended with another. It's okay to get confused. I just did, and then it worked out perfectly fine. So then I'm going to put my glue on my base, just like I did before. Should I get it really well? And I'm going to match it up the best I can. And again, I'm only going to work on half a side at a time. Make sure I push it down nice and firm. And then I'm going to come in on the other side. I'm going to do that too. Make sure I get the edges. Oops. Okay. So then I'm going to come through on this one. And the second, matching up the second one is the hardest because it wants to push out. So you got to be careful and make sure you get it nice and meshed up. And then as it dries, make sure the flaps don't glue to each other. So you might want to leave it open for a minute and allow it to dry. But now you are free to decorate the inside, write whatever you'd like, and you have a pop-up card. Oops. And you can see what I mean about letting it dry before I mush it down. Because it is definitely trying to stick to each other. I'm going to let this dry and I'm going to show you on this one. So this is the one that I made previously. And then it opens up pretty wide with all my fun colors. Okay. Thank you for joining me today to make our pop-up pumpkin card. I think they came out so cute, and I cannot wait to send them out for the holidays. Be sure to check with us for your Teen Tote Craft, which you can register for between the 15th and the 30th to receive next month. And I believe next month we're going to have a turkey decor and a head start on your festive winter ornaments.